Previously, the group made their way to meet with Arnor, a halfling artificer who'd formerly been with Arspec. Despite there being numerous warnings posted, Nova managed to set off a number of traps, leading to him being glitter bombed and then hit by a stink cloud. After a rocky start, Arnor told the group what he knew about Arspec, and they shared their knowledge in return. Most of the information he had to share wasn't particularly new to the group, but he was at least able to confirm some of their suspicions. He also gave them the name Evel Yates as an elven woman who potentially may have played a role in setting up the hunt, as he knew that once upon a time she had a taste for the exotic. Nova went to get the package that Thalia had left with all of her Arspec research in it, and Arnor agreed to pull an all-nighter, reviewing it to see if he could find anything useful that the others had missed. Once they were done, the group made their way back to the hot springs so that poor Nova could get cleaned up. On the way there, Zarakir explained why he had been so distracted lately and just what the message from Kareska he'd received had meant. As it got later into the evening, everyone settled in to enjoy the final night of the festival. Isaac spent the night with the same man he'd been with the last 2 evenings. Kess spent their evening with Astro, Adria's former Malur. Zarakir spent the night outside the village training with Benator. Bertrand and Nova spent the night together, in Bertrand's room, although it was in an entirely innocent way. Adria spent some time with her family before meeting up with Ren to enjoy the rest of the night. She asked his opinion on them having a threesome with Mingy, and he gently played the role of conscience and convinced her it might not be the best idea. At least not without a conversation, which there really wasn't time for at 2 a.m. the night before they were leaving the village. As it got late, Zarakir got another message from Kareska, and he sent Venator to meet with her in Limbo again. The next morning, the group made their way to Arnor's home to pick up Thalia's research and see if he'd figured out anything. He quietly pulled Nova aside to tell him that Thalia had left a letter for him. There was also a small, non-magical ring inside. It was revealed that Adria had noticed Thalia wearing the ring when they'd first met. Isaac took a closer look at it with his jeweler's kit as well, and he noticed a small engraving inside. Add in some of the wording of the goodbye letter that Thalia had left, where she'd mentioned seeing Bertrand and Nova together, and it quickly became apparent that back when they'd been together in Arspect, they'd been engaged. Nova left for a little bit to take a quiet walk. Then he returned to the group so that they could get ready to leave. Adria opened a portal in a tree to Quickwater so that they could drop off Elowen. Then she opened up another portal to Rialta's Grove so that they could drop off Naren and check Tony to see if he had a crystal embedded in his arm as well. Tony didn't have any crystal in his arm when they checked, much to everyone's relief. They spent the night with Rialta before making their way back to the Isles to meet up with the airship that was being sent for them. And that is where we left off.